welcome. I'm so glad to talk to you guys about knitting today. I have actually another new acquisition and some knits to show you, including my beautiful Sunset Highway that I knit a while back to share with you. So I can't wait. So I know the world has just changed so much here recently with the whole coronavirus thing. And I am excited and happy that I have knitting to do during this, and that my world hasn't totally changed. I homeschool my kids anyways. I have 3 kids, ages 10, now 9 and 6, and a husband, and I homeschool my kids, but we do a lot of things out of the house. Almost every day of the week we have activities that take us out of the house. So things have changed a great bit in regards to how our life looks and how our day looks. So things have changed even though we homeschool. But I have to say I'm happy that we homeschool in all this, because the kids don't have to have a drastic change to their schooling. All of our core subjects were done at home anyways, and so that doesn't look different. And it keeps them occupied, and when they do get off of school, they want to run and play and be free and not be told what they need to do next. So I think that has really helped me and helped the kids in this kind of odd stage with having everything canceled and all. Their lives and my life hasn't totally been turned upside down. So I'm happy about that. I pray for all of those out there that are sick, and everybody who's affected by this, and everybody whose lives have been turned upside down because now they're home and their kids are home, and change can be very difficult. It can be good at times, and I'm happy to have a little more time to breathe at home and not be rushed from place to place. And I just pray that families take this time to reconnect and enjoy each other's company, and just that people stay safe and wash their hands lots. And so anyways, I just wanted to tell you guys that I am praying for everyone out there, and I am excited to still knit and to talk about knitting. So hopefully this bright, cheerful sweater will brighten your day, as I always smile when I put it on because it's very cheerful. I guess that's what I will start with today. This is the Sunset Highway by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. And I really loved the look of the sample sweater that she has on her pattern. It's kind of a, I don't know, it reminds me of like Arizona or something, with the way the colors were kind of faded and worked together. And so I was trying to mimic that, but I didn't have the money for the yarn that she used. I don't know what yarn she used, but I'm pretty sure it was an indie dyer. And that's a little out of my price range at this point in time. So I actually went on Knit Picks and tried to pick out yarns that would give me the same feel. Now, it is a little bit of a gamble to try to pick coordinating colors and all, when all you have to look at is a picture. And as you probably know, sometimes the image you see on the screen doesn't always quite match what you get when you get that yarn home. So I was very thrilled with how this did turn out, considering I was picking everything online, and there was no set yarns laid out before me to get what I wanted. I had to pick them all myself. They are all Knit Picks Hawthorne. It's wool. I think it's a 75-25, and I think it's like a sock yarn. It's a fingering weight. I was especially concerned about this this color. Hopefully you can see it well. It has orange in it. And so I wasn't sure if I would really like that or not, but overall, I think it turned out really cute with the orange. I'll try to put some other pictures of it up here too. I will also attempt to look for the names of all of the yarn. They are all Knit Picks Hawthorne yarns, but I will try to find the actual colorway names. And they may not even be available anymore because I think I knit this sweater almost maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago. But I don't think I've talked about it on the channel yet. I was also not sure about this yarn. This one right here. I wasn't sure if it would go with everything or not. Because it has yellow and this little purple. And then it has like blackish gray specks in it. And then I have it up next to like a blue. But it all really does work quite well together. I love how it turned out. I knit the medium size. So it is quite baggy. But I like that oversized look. I think she has it as an option on there to do the shoulder or to bring up the back of the neck with the short rows. And so I did that. That's the one thing with this blue colorway here. It has kind of, instead of speckles, it has kind of stripes of lighter color. And so you can see where these short rows come into play. And I'll turn around a little bit so you can see the back. So you can tell that because of those short rows, it's much shorter right here with that blue. This is the, what do you call it? The knit purl ribbing. There we go. It's a 1x1 ribbing, and it goes pretty much directly from the 1x1 ribbing into the color work on the yoke in the front here. But then in the back, you have a good amount of that blue. So anyways, I think it worked really well. I did get, I think 1 skein of each of these colors, and then I believe 2 skeins of the orange. So it still wasn't free by any means. It wasn't cheap, but I think the yarn is around $11, $12 a skein. So it's much less than an indie dyed yarn that's, you know, 25 to 30 a skein. And it totally worked out. I do really love this sweater. And I think this was my first ever colorwork sweater. So there it is. I'm not sure what else I want to say about it. Like I said, I knit the medium, and I'm probably a size 32, 34 bust, something like that. So I have a lot of leeway here. Positive ease, that's what you call it, which I really like. And I did, she has in her pattern to do short rows in the bottom of the back to make it longer. So I did that as well. I don't know if there's anything else I have to say about it. I've been wearing this a lot, and the Hawthorne yarn has really held up. Because sometimes I get pills, you know, where you wear it a lot. And I have a few, I don't know if you can see them, I have a few little pills here. But very few considering how often I've worn this sweater. It's my go-to sweater, especially in the springtime when the weather starts to look pretty and you want it to be warm and pretty in springtime out, but it's still cold. And so the bright, cheerful colors just make me happy. So again, Sunset Highway, Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks, and Knit Picks yarn, Hawthorne type of yarn. I'm going to take it off because it's actually warm in my sunroom today. For that reason, and also because I want to show you guys what my Joji Locatelli's cowl that I've knit. It's off the needles. It's not 100% done, but it is off the needles. So this is still a work in progress, even though it's off the needles. and it is cowlish, I want to say. It's a cowl that looks a little bit like a shawl. I knit Joji Locatelli's Midsummer Haze cowl pattern. It starts off like a shawl, a triangular shawl, like I said last time, and then you join it and knit in the round. And I used Zen Yarn Garden's color trio gradient set called Pansies, and it's a fingering weight mohair yarn, and I believe it was purchased off of Zulily. I got it as a gift, and I have it. You can see my yarn haul video if you want to see it more. So it doesn't call for a gradient yarn, but I decided to do that, and you can see where I went from one yarn to the next here. I just did a couple of alternating rows before I went into the next one. So I used up the dark purple and then went to the medium one. And this one's definitely tonal, I guess you could say, because you have you can kind of see the stripes of darker and lighter yarn in there. And then, I'm not sure last time if I had gone to the third color, but here I went to the third color, and again I transitioned a couple of rows, but you can't see the fade quite as strong as you did with the other two colors. And this one's definitely much lighter at the bottom. And I have blocked it, although I'm not sure how well I blocked it. I didn't want each of these yarn patterns to be like a point. So I put a blocking wire. I put a blocking wire here and here and just laid it out like this. The only problem with that is that it is knit in the round, so really I shouldn't have this point on the side. And the back, is curling a bit. But I wasn't sure how to do that. To like pull it all straight without it curling and stuff. But I think it works. So it's done, but I do want to put the tassels on it. It's supposed to have some fringe, I think, coming off of it, not super close together, but like the points, kind of the points where all the lace meets, I think is supposed to be some fringe. And I do think I have enough yarn left over to do that, because it's not supposed to be like thick fringe. So I'm excited with the fringe on it. I think it'll look better with the fringe on. I'll try it on for you now. But I think I will like it better with the fringe. And I think all of my fringe will be the light color yarn, because that's what I have the most of. So it sits a little bit like a shawl, which was kind of the point. See, what I don't like about how I blocked it is that when I sit it on my shoulders here, or my neck, these stick out, and they should really just be kind of rounded. But I'm hoping with I could possibly reshape that a little bit, maybe with steaming it out, and I'm hoping also with some fringe that it'll kind of work. So here it is. Let's sit back so maybe you can see it better that way. It's always confusing because you have the little screen when you're videoing, and it's all like mirror image. So it's always a little bit difficult to figure out which way to shift things. But I think it does kind of look like a shawl, but it's a cowl. So you just stick it over your head and go. And this yarn is very soft. So I am happy with it, and it was a fairly easy knit. You do have to pay attention to the lace a little bit, but it's a very simple lace. So I would say it's an easy knit, and I enjoyed it. It was quicker than a full shawl because there's just less knitting. I used less than 600 grams because in my 3 skeins, mini skeins, I had 600 yards. Did I say grams? I mean yards. So I had 600 yards, and I used less of that than what I had. I'm not sure how much I have left. But I think after I do the fringe, it'll use all 600. So here it is. I like it. Let me know if y'all have knit anything like this, kind of a mixture between a cowl and a shawl. I like it. I haven't really gotten a chance to wear it because, well, for one, I still want to add the fringe, but it's also not very cold right now. It's getting warm. It's like springtime already. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is in my little cupcake bag. I used to make cupcakes for people, and my thing was called Gabie's Goodies. That's what I called my cupcake thing, and that's where the name for the knitting came from, because I thought knitting was is goodies too. Now it's just Gabie's Knit Goodies as opposed to Gabie's Cupcake Goodies. So my next item is a summer knit, and it's also my own pattern. I am basically being my own tester. I knit this last summer, I think. It has, I think it's called like Indian cross stitch here in the front, and then it has eyelets all over it. It has a split hem, and it's knit in 2 pieces, seamed together at the sides, the top, and then pick up stitches for the neck, and also pick up stitches for the short little sleeves. Kind of like a drop shoulder thing going on. So I like this a lot, and I knit it out of I Love Cotton, size 8 needles, I believe. Well, I can tell you. Yes, size 8 knitting needles. So a fairly quick knit. Now this is knit out of I Love Cotton from Hobby Lobby, and it's a pretty thick cotton. So it's a cozy sweater, but it is cotton, so it's not super warm. But I wanted to try on something slightly a little lighter, and I also I wanted a different color, and I also wanted to test out my pattern for a different size. This is the small size, and I'm testing it out in the large size, but I'm still doing it for myself. I kind of want like an oversized one, and then I also want to put full sleeves on it. So I'm knitting this one out of Knit Picks Comfy Fingering. It is a 75% Pima cotton, 25% acrylic. It's 218 yards per 50 grams. And its colorway is just a black. I don't know if you can see that. And it's lighter weight. I'm still knitting it with the size 8 knitting needles. So it creates a more airy garment. So I finished the front. Let's see. So this is the front of the garment. It hasn't been blocked, so things will kind of straighten out here a little bit with this Indian stitch. But I love how it's turning out, and I think it'll be perfect for the summer because it is it's lighter. Can I have on something black so you can't see it? But I really like it. I am very curious. I haven't measured this yet, but I'm curious to see if the size is what the large is supposed to be, because I am using slightly thinner yarn. So I'm not sure. I haven't double checked my gauge since I swatched it to see if it is indeed still knitting up in the same gauge. It's definitely wider, a good bit wider than my than my cream colored one that's a size small. But I really love this, and I think that this weight yarn works just even better in something you're gonna wear when it's warm out. And it's very drapey in comparison to this. This is just a little heavier. I like it, but it is kind of like wearing a sweater, and I feel like this will be a little bit more like wearing just a light shirt. Okay, I ran out of memory on my SD card, so I had to delete something. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys this before it ran out, hopefully. I think I'm going to call it the Swiss tee. I really like the Knit Picks comfrey cotton yarn. And it's very lightweight. It's a fingering weight yarn. And I really like it. And sometimes it's nice to get yarn that you don't have to skein up. It's already in, or wind up into a ball. It's already in a ball. The only other thing I had for you guys is an acquisition. I went to Christiansburg last week before all the whole stuff about not meeting in groups happened with the virus. My son had a swim meet, and he got to do the first day of the swim meet, and then the rest of it got canceled. But I got to go to a yarn store in Blacksburg, and I only had 10 minutes because my husband and my kids were in the car, and they said I was on a severe time limit. So I ran in, and I saw this. It is West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, signature 4-ply. It says perfect for socks. It is 75% wool, 25% nylon, and it says it contains 35% blue-faced Leicester. I have seen in from Amy of Stranded Dye Works, or Stranded Podcast. She has used West Yorkshire Spinners self-striping yarn before for socks, and it just looked so much fun. And so when I saw it in the store, I figured I'd give it a try. They have a lot in that yarn store. I figure out what the name of it is, but they had a lot of lovely yarn and a lot of lovely hand-dyed yarn, but I just didn't have time to go through it and figure out what I wanted. So when I saw this and I knew I was under a time limit, I figured I'd snag it. I think this might actually be a Christmas colorway, but it's not super Christmassy at all. It does have some little spots of red and light green, but it also has pink and blue and cream. There is no name for this colorway that I can find on here, but it's very cute. And I'm really excited because it has a fairly long pattern for the way it is self-striping. So I'm just really excited to give that a try because I've never done it before. So you will see how it turns out, or as I'm knitting it. I think I'm going to cast it on today. Yay! I think everyone should cast on something new in just to make yourself happy during this stressful time. When I got that yarn, she also gave me at the store a pattern. This was their Christmas, the West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas sock pattern. It has texture on the top and like this little tassel-y thing, or tie, I guess, right here. I don't know what that is. I don't think that I am going to use it because I just kind of want to have something easy and like TV watching knitting to do, and just, purse knitting. Something easy, and just I really want to just watch the colorway come up as it patterns. So I don't think I'm going to do this with this yarn. However, I might use this pattern for another sock yarn. Maybe something that's I have that's just a plain sock yarn. I could do this because the sock yarn itself, it's what's doing all of this patterning. But there's some texture up here that I think you'd probably see better in like a plain yarn. So I'm going to give that a try. The directions are fairly long, so we'll see how complicated that is. It has bobbles in it, so that's fun. Anyways, I don't have anything else to show you guys. I thank you for watching, and stay safe and do something fun for yourself. Bye.